One of the rarest and most talked about types of the MBTI, you'd think there's something about the INFJ personality type that makes them seem magical. Well, while they may be true to some degree, the life of this complex type certainly isn't all butterflies and rainbows. In fact, it's said to be one of the most difficult personalities to be typed with. Welcome or welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Alright, let's get right into it. Starting with number 1. They're pretty much always tired. When researching the INFJ personality type and the most common challenges they face throughout life, feeling drained and trying to avoid burnout tend to be amongst the top few. It seems that no matter how much rest this personality type gets, they never feel quite as rested as they would like. This is because for this highly sensitive type, sometimes it's the simplest of things that rapidly eat away at their emotional, physical, and overall energy. The things most people wouldn't even consider to be tiring in the slightest. Yet, aside from the everyday external stimuli that drains the INFJ battery, their extroverted feeling cognitive function is there to use up the last little bit of energy they savor day to day. Feeling the feelings of those around them is exhausting, to say the least. It's like processing your own internal emotions, amplified by 100, with a confusing twist as to where these emotions are really coming from. Being that the INFJ, just like the rest of society, must interact with other humans, this drainer is ultimately unavoidable. Number 2. They understand everything a little too well. Sometimes leaving some details to the imagination is for our benefit, but for the INFJ and their overly curious nature, incomplete understanding just doesn't cut it. From the ways of the world to the human psyche and everything in between, INFJs don't rest until they have curated a 360 view of the full picture. And while they say knowledge is power, knowledge also comes with a different set of challenges that most INFJs don't consider when searching for answers. An example of the difficulties that come with their thirst for knowledge is obvious when it comes to their love-hate relationship with fellow humans. They know exactly how weak the human mind is, and just how easily manipulated or manipulative it can be. Although this understanding gives them the ability to form an in-depth interpretation of the emotions they absorb through others, it also makes it terrifying to let anyone past the walls of speculation. They don't trust easily, and should they finally let someone in and be proven right of their skepticisms, it tends to sting far more than if they wouldn't have anticipated it. Which brings us to number 3. Friends are extremely hard to come by. If you're an INFJ and you have someone you genuinely consider to be your best friend, consider yourself extremely lucky, for the world of friendships is one of the things in life for this personality type that really makes life kind of suck. Companionship is simply a beautiful manifestation of human emotion and care. Two things the INFJ longs to share with another. However, it's fair to say that friend circles are habitually small. Often a best friend is simply not in the picture because nobody has so far been genuine enough. And this isn't to say the INFJ doesn't try, despite their introverted, skeptical, and reserved nature. In fact, this personality type puts in ample amounts of effort to show their loyalty and interest when the right person comes along. Yet, no matter the effort, the wishing, or the waiting, INFJs slowly come to the conclusion that they may just be better off being their own best friend, which serves to be quite the lonely life, even if it is enjoyable most times. Number 4. Some of their best ideas and gifts are stifled by procrastination. Whether they like to admit it or not, INFJs are procrastinators at heart. Despite their organized and technical nature, There's something about their high set expectations for themselves that makes starting and finishing projects entirely daunting. Their perfectionism ultimately doesn't allow room for failing at any task, which sounds like a high achiever quality, when really, it's simply their fears fueling them as they go. With so much fear surrounding new hobbies, projects, and endeavors, the friction created slows down their momentum, ultimately stifling their progress and abilities. The irony behind it all is that if the INFJ were to just go about utilizing their skills without the need for perfectionism, their work would come out on top, probably better than they had even imagined. And yet, with these unnecessarily high expectations and the distress that accompanies it, they end up performing with less quality and overall less enjoyment. This overachiever mindset can also be applied to the way they manage their health and body image due to the extreme measures they may take to achieve a certain appearance. The stress they place on their need for certain habits in life may counteract the benefits they're hoping to attain, leading to our next point. Number 5. Making a living doesn't come easy. Okay, we get it. Work is work. When it comes to making money, there's no easy way out. Yet, for the majority of the working class, going to school and getting a career seems like a logical and viable option, one that is rarely even questioned. For the INFJ, however, falling into this daily grind can seem like a trap that they take on as a challenge to dodge altogether. Many INFJs come out of school with an intuitive hunch to find an alternative route to climbing the corporate ladder. They need something rewarding, flexible, interesting, creative, and ultimately something that is manifested on their own terms. They long for a career that doesn't involve bootlicking, overworking, ingenious interactions, or a pressure to participate in the fast-paced race to the top. INFJs are dreamers and usually have dreamt up multiple different routes that don't involve falling into the rat race. The only thing stopping them is their fear-based procrastination, and if overcome by this, they're usually left with no choice but to fall into the worst-case scenario. Number 6. It takes a long time to learn those life-altering lessons. No matter your personality type, maturity and personal progress is inevitable as the years go by. For the INFJ, this is just as true for the next type. However, there are some lessons that INFJs tend to learn arguably late in life. Realizing the power of their intuition, the strength in setting necessary boundaries, the importance of being able to rely on another person, the importance of being grounded and present, and the list goes on. There are some things the INFJ comes to realize that would have ultimately saved them a lot of turmoil in their younger years. This personality type tends to realize from a very early age that they're much different from those around them. With deep insights and unrelatable quirks, they often felt confused about life rather than simply embracing it for what it is. They come into this world with an old soul, but don't quite have the old wisdom to yet match it. And so, over the years, these two slowly become one, making life and all the differences they once despised a much more wholesome experience. They say an INFJ's older years are the most enjoyable, but until then, it can be a seriously bumpy ride. And lastly, number 7, there's a sense of guilt for being ungrateful. In the end, no INFJ would ever change that personality type if they had the chance. Sure, it would be fun to be a little more extroverted, a little less in their heads, and maybe even a little more normal at times. But at the end of the day, INFJs would happily take their challenges to keep their strengths. In fact, for the average INFJ watching this very video, there are probably some objections and some yes buts that are helping navigate the guilt that comes with pointing out the less ideal aspects of their life. To this intellectual type, life is life, and no life is perfect. Therefore, although it's good to analyze and bond over certain challenges, it's fair to say everyone's life sucks in their own unique way. Well, psychos, that's it for today. So, do you think your life as an INFJ kind of sucks in a way that's unique to your personality type? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.